Let's start, inshallah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسولنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم. So, uh, inshallah, today's topic is going to be about this verse, Allahu waliyul ladhina amanu. God is the protector of believers. But before I get to that, I want to start by asking questions. First, who do you take as your protector? Practically speaking, who is your protector? And I'm honestly asking that question. Like, since we are in a discussion, let's try to come up with a religious answer, or let's try not to sound religious and give a bizarre answer. No. Think about it genuinely. What do you feel like is your protector? Protector meaning, if you are going to get into trouble, who is going to be defending your rights? Who is going to be helping you? This is the protector, right? So if things go wrong, who do you think is your helper? Who is your protector? Parents? Zarar? Rich guy? Okay. I don't know how rich he is. Apparently, Elon Musk is not paying enough money. This is what I learned today. But anyways, anything from there? Family is a protector. Ibrahim is from a Gulf country, so his Malik has a lot of money, no? Dua says her house. Okay, her house. God is the protector of believers. And we try to invest on things that we believe will protect us, right? Like, for example, you guys are now investing in a job which you think is going to be protecting you down the road, because you would like to have enough money. Money is a protector. Before the discussion started, we were talking about some wealthy guy who donated $50 million to a university to put his name into a certain college, right? So wealthy people with money, they can do anything. So we tend to think that, yes, money is a protector. Anything else? Any other protectors? So I guess another thing is you guys don't know about it probably. Maybe Zarar knows it. Have you heard about 401k? Retirement fund? This is a protector that people rely on, because while still I am functioning, let me put some money aside. So when I get old, I will need that money. I will need protection. And since I'm going to be pretty much useless at that point, nobody will be protecting me, supporting me. So I better protect myself 30 years later. So different protectors. Zara says teachers, scholars. I don't know if guidance and protection is the same. So in terms of guidance, actually, we will talk about that. Yes, teachers and scholars, are they my protector? Are they my guide? Okay. So let's see what the verse is suggesting. The verse suggests, Allahu waliyul ladhina amanu. Allah is the protecting guardian of those who believe. Once you read this verse, what comes to your mind? What comes to my mind is people in Gaza. These are the believers, and they are being bombed. And the ones who attack them, maybe some of them believe, but some other are clearly not believing. So what sort of a protection is this verse talking about? Allah is the protector of the believer. And you're getting into trouble, and you're saying that, oh, Allah is my protector. Yes. It's not like preserving their iman, giving them sakina, giving them tranquility. Yeah. Okay. Good. Maybe this is what the protection is. So we're interested in definitely that protection, right? Who is my protector? And Allah is the protector of believer here. So it's important. Protection is related to belief. And belief is an act. Like you make a choice. Okay. And he says, يُخْرِجُهُمْ مِنَ الظُّلُمَاتِ إِلَى النُّورِ. Extracts them from darkness into light. This is apparently how the protection is happening, or being the guardian, wali. There's a comment. Let's read the comment. So even the Ottomans in World War I, we needed protection there, but we lost. Zara says, yes, I mean, a strong country is what we generally tend to think about as a protector. Like if you have a United States passport and you're lost somewhere, you feel like, oh, I'll just give a call to the embassy and they'll take care of me. Actually, it's I don't know how to take it, but you know, there was this there had been a small ship that went to Gaza from Turkey in 2014 or so. And then Israelis took hold of the ship. There had been an attack, an ambush sort of a thing, and a few people were killed. Interestingly, one of the travelers in this ship was a American citizen of Turkish origin, like a young boy. And when he was getting on the ship, they said that, well, be careful, it's dangerous. And he said, oh, I'm an American citizen. They can't do anything to me. But he was shot. To me, that's a interesting reminder. Like you are relying on what? You're saying that, oh, I'm an American citizen, nobody can touch me. And then the people that you say can't touch me, just killing you. So this is something that we generally tend to think as my protector. But this verse is saying that Allah is the protector of humans? No. Of Muslims? No. It says protector of believers. Belief is being provided as the key for protection. Good. And then there's this additional part, extracts them from darkness into light. Interesting. It continues, وَالَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا أَوْلِيَاؤُهُمُ الطَّاغُوتُ. And for those who are deniers or insisting to deny, cover up the truth, their protector is Taghut. What is Taghut? It says false deities. Their patrons are false deities. False deities. Okay, you know what it is, right? False statues. يُخْرِجُونَهُمْ مِنَ النُّورِ إِلَى الظُّلُمَاتِ. And those false deities, those Taghut, are extracting them from light into darkness. أُولَٰئِكَ أَصْحَابُ النَّارِ. These are the companions of fire. هُمْ فِيهَا خَالِدُونَ. They dwell there forever. Okay, that's the picture Quran is depicting. It's, I don't know how easy it is to relate to that, but again, this should be something that I should check for myself. Is Allah my guardian and protector? If Allah is not my guardian and protector, I should ask, is Taghut my protector then? Because there's a black and white picture that's being drawn here. And it says, it also gives me sort of a litmus test saying that depending on who your guardian is, actually, you can test for it. If your guardian is giving you darkness, or it gives you light and security, which is an interesting thing. I might be claiming that my protector is Allah, yet I find myself in darkness. Then what will happen in this case? Who is my protector? Like I say, Allah is my protector, but I am super stressed and I'm feeling in darkness. Then who is it really, my protector? Make sense? Okay, let's move on. After this verse, right after this verse comes 3 examples. Quran gives us 3 examples to explain what it means by the idea of protector. How is it that Allah is the protector of the believer and Taghut is the protector of the unbeliever? Alam tara ila alladhi hajja Ibrahim fi rabbih. Did we discuss this verse before? Probably. I mean, Dua said no. I don't know if we discussed this before with Rida. You don't remember? Okay. So, Alam tara ila alladhi hajja Ibrahim fi rabbih an atahu Allahu al-mulk. So, did you not consider the case of the one who had an argument with Abraham about his Lord? Because Allah had given him the kingdom. He was giving him authority. So, this historically is taken as the example where Ibrahim alayhi salam is having this conversation with the Nimrod. Nimrod is the king, the Babylonian king, and Ibrahim alayhi salam is challenging him. A little bit more history. Ibrahim alayhi salam's father was an idol maker for Nimrod himself. So you can think of Ibrahim alayhi salam coming from like the ruling elite's family. Like his family is from among kings, near circle, okay? And now, as if there's this king, and one of the minister's son is coming and challenging the king. Like this, what this is the picture. But the verse is saying this, consider this example. So it doesn't necessarily need to be happening once in there. Actually, it's happening right here within you as well. So, but one important aspect that's being highlighted, this guy is given authority by the creator. This king is given authority by the creator. And this is where the taghut is happening. The guy thinks he has the authority, not given the authority. Okay. What does Ibrahim a.s. says? قال إبراهيم ربي الذي يحيي ويميت. My Lord is the one who gives life and gives death. In a sense, he's saying that unless anything can give life or death, it cannot be Lord. What does the guy say? قال أنا أحيي وأميت. He says, I give life and give death too. The way this is now historically being explained is Namrud said, okay, bring 2 prisoners who are in death row, and he just kills one of them and frees the other one and says, you see, I gave life to one of them and took away life from the other one. قال إبراهيم فإن الله يأتي بالشمس من المشرق فأتي بها من المغرب. And Ibrahim said to him, indeed, Allah brings sun from east, then you bring it from west. فبهت الذي كفر. And then the denier was dumbfounded, was not able to speak a word.
Could someone open the door?
Okay, somebody got it, yeah. فبهت الذي كفر والله لا يهدي القوم الظالمين. Indeed, Allah does not guide the wrongdoers. Okay? Does not guide wrongdoing people. What do you think? How is this an example of Allah is the helper of the protector of believers and Taghut is the protector of disbeliever? and God is taking people from darkness into light. On the other hand, Taghut is taking people from light into darkness. Where's protection here? What do you think? And how is this example relevant to us? Why is Quran telling me a story? Let's try to learn the approach here. Protection, finding protection is important for us. But how do we do that? From this verse, how is this helping? Yeah, waiting for your answer. Taghut, yeah, Taghut is generally they take it as what did they say? They call it as false deities, but sometimes they take it as idols, statues. This is how they translate it, Taghut.
Give you something in return, versus if you turn to a deity, they might not be able.
In this example, for instance, how does this happen? Like, what is the Taghut for that person? So let's first do it with Rida, then I'll read the note. So, like in this case, what is Taghut? And how is the disbeliever in this example, the person who had the kingdom? How is this, what is Taghut that the person is seeking protection from? And how is it putting that person into darkness? And the believer, and I guess apparently Ibrahim is the believer in this example, how is he being protected by the creator? Because eventually he's going to be thrown into fire. Okay, yes, he's protected by the fire, from the fire by the creator, as the story goes. But what does it mean that he is extracted from darkness into light? Because we should see the pattern in here so that we apply to our lives. And there are going to be 2 more examples. So 3 examples Quran gives, and these 3 should exemplify the claim that's mentioned here. Allahu waliyul ladhina amanu. Allah is the protector of believers. So that I will find not my 401k, not my passport, not my family as the protector, but my creator as my protector. This is what I'm trying to find out here in the light of this verse. Rida, you were saying something. Finish your words. So Zarar says, this part confuses me. Why was the disbeliever dumbfounded instead of saying, ask Allah to bring the sun out of the west? Okay. Yes.
I think with this prophet, he's saying like my creator is bringing from the east. If you dispute that, you try to bring it from the west. So the one I believe in, he's already bringing it from the east. So if you are so powerful, you bring it from the west. He's doing everything by his own measure and everything. So he made that. So if you want to challenge that, you do something.
Let's see the nature of the example here. Yeah, this is one sign.
Like it was the other way around. That's the darkness.
Maybe. But what is the nature of example here? The dispute. Ibrahim is giving an example to the person, saying that my Lord is the one who gives life and death. But what does the guy respond? I also give life and death. So definitely the guy is confused. Is what he said correct? Let's first ask that question. Can he really give life or death? He's confused. He doesn't know what he's talking about, actually. He is in a darkness. He thinks he can, but actually he can't. How dare he says such a thing? Where does this ignorance come from? He was given authority, like kingdom, over a certain territory, and he started thinking that he has power. He was blinded. Like, let me give an example for this. Let's say, I mean, majority of you are international students here, right? So you go home and your neighbor's son comes and says, oh, Qadir Bhai, how can I go to United States to become like you? I admire you so much. Teach me the ways. How do I write the letter? How do I do this? How do I do that, right? And you see that the guy really doesn't know anything. So you hold his hand, figuratively speaking, help him write his letter. And you say that, oh, apply here, apply there, right? And then the guy gets admission. How do you start feeling? I put you here, right? This is how we feel about it. I start feeling like I have authority over this kid. If I was not, you wouldn't be where you are. And you will expect him to bow to you for the rest of his life, right? Now imagine, like, this is in your small territory, you feel like you're a king of this guy. The person we are talking here is a king, but everybody, to a certain extent, is given this authority. But we start feeling like I gave him this admission, right? The guy was doing the same. He was given authority over some people, and he feels like, I gave you this. I give you life. Like Pharaoh does the same with the way Quran explains, says the lands of the rivers of Egypt and the land, it's his. And he is the one who provides Egyptians with the food and whatnot. This is the attitude, this is the mindset, right? Or how does the president talk in their election talks? We created 10 million jobs, right? This is the rhetoric in there. I feel like I have authority. Where's this coming from? I am given authority, but I feel like I have authority. And this gives me blindness. What's the example here? The guy says, well, I also give life and death. What does Ibrahim a.s. do from there? To show the guy that he is stupidly talking in the first place, he gives an extended example of the same nature. Because as if saying that you didn't understand what I'm saying. Let me give you another example of giving life and giving death. So it goes from small example to larger example, a more clear example, if you like, which is, he says, what is giving life to the day? Raising of the sun, right? And you claim you can give life? Okay, this is how my creator gives life today. If you claim you can give life, then give life today from the other side. And lighten the day from the other side rather than this side. So he's challenging, he is saying that you do not know what you're talking about at all. As you cannot give life today, you cannot give life to a human being either, not even to a small cell. So the taghut of this guy was coming from this fact of naturalistic idea, saying that I hold the power. And this was blinding the person, thinking that he can give life, he can give death, which is a total lie. It doesn't have any truth. Like imagine you are like in this room, we start treating Dua as the president of the United States. Everybody pretends as if Dua is the president. And she starts believing in it. She starts believing in a lie. There's no truth to it, but we pretend, oh, Dua, you're this, you're that, and whatnot. So she is living in a world of lie, no truth to it. So if she steps out of this building, she faces her reality. This is the unbeliever's world. I rely on protectors, which doesn't provide me any protection, like my 401k. Like you feel like you have a lot of investment, then you realize that let's say a cancer happens in you, and then all the things you thought were your protectors vanishes immediately. It was a false protection, false sense of protection, which were given to you. So rather than relying on the money, rather than relying on the state or whatever, you should have been relying on the one who provides all these. But the one who provides said, okay, I'm taking them away. Where's your protector? You find yourself in darkness. So such taghut leaves me in a world in which it's darkness. It's no true guidance, really. So Ibrahim alayhi salam, by asking this question, shows that the true light is coming from Iman. Because only the true protector can protect me. Nothing else can protect me. So Iman, as Ibrahim was saying at the beginning, Iman gives you protection because ultimately it gives purpose and meaning to this life. Then you see, even if my life is going to be taken away from me, somebody comes and puts a bullet to my head. So the way now your Iman brings meaning to life, you say that, well, the life was a period for education. And now the teacher said that, okay, it's time for you to graduate, and you take the bullet. It's not a dark bullet for you, it's a light bullet. It's the news of your graduation now. For a believer, somebody putting a bullet to your head is not being a dark news, actually. It becomes the news of your graduation. But for the unbeliever, for whom protection was provided by the blue, police department, somebody putting gun to your head, police has no help to you now. It's the end of it. Even if you have chanted for, oh, let's fund the police department, you gave all the taxes and whatnot, you're nothing at this moment. So this verse is delineating what's right, what's wrong to me, and what clearly showing how I can find protection and light. Yes.
It can confuse you or even delude you and make you think that you are the one who's doing these things. Because, like, for example, I have plants, and if I in my head, I think, okay, like if I don't give them water, they're gonna die. If I give them water, they're gonna live. So I am the one who's deciding whether or not they live or die. So it's reminding me of the similar situation where, like, this person, especially like kings of the time, like they had so much like ego that they really thought, like, I am the one who is allowing this person, my riaya, to live, and I am the one who decides whether or not they die. So I think I really understand this attitude of, the believer being shocked when Hazrat Ibrahim pointed towards the sun, because it really makes you think, well, like, okay, I can delude myself to think, okay, I control these people, but certainly I have nothing to do with the sun. And it just reminds me of that whole conversation that we had where we talked about how, the God of one thing also necessarily has to be the God of everything. So if you don't control one thing, then, you're out.
Mm-hmm. Like this verse is sort of criticized in the sense that normally the first example and the second example should be like, they say the first example was hidden, so the second example was open. But Mufassirin says, then this is going against the idea of balagha, because like you are first giving an obscure example and then giving an open example. Like when you're talking, you should give an example, then give a supporting example to open up the topic more. But if your first example is obscure, then per balagha, you shouldn't give the first example in the first point. You should rather go with the second example, right? So Quran is famous with its balagha. So what's the point of this example? Balagha is eloquence, the perfect speech. So is it that Ibrahim alayhi salam came up with the wrong example, and in the debate, the guy fired back with a stronger response, and Ibrahim alayhi salam said, okay, you beat me with this one. How about this example? Okay. If this would have been the case, then it's against balagha. But then they say, well, actually, the first example and the second example is of the same nature. They're both examples of giving life. But the guy didn't see it. This is why with the second example, Ibrahim alayhi salam is as if saying that, no, you didn't beat me with the first one. Still, you cannot give life, but you don't see it. So let me show your wrongness in your first answer even by giving you the same action of giving life in a larger scale so that you realize your mistake in your first response as well. Something he can understand better with the first mistake as well. Otherwise, it's not like in a debate, it's something happens. Sometimes it happens like this, right? You give an example, the guy says, how about this one? And they say, okay, yeah, you beat me with that. How about this example? You come with a second example. This is not what's happening here. The action is the same. This is an important thing. When we say, for example, Allah is Rahim, you can observe mercy of the Creator in a water droplet. You can observe the mercy of the Creator in the relationship between a cat and kitten. It is the same act. One is a water droplet. The other one is cat-kitten relationship. The third is you're observing the mercy of the Creator in the season of spring. All of them are the same action. Like if you like, the same brush is touching water, is touching cat, is touching spring. Scale is different, but it is the same brush that's acting. Here, same brush giving life and death, same brush touching the day, giving, raising the sun. So divine names, actually. Ibrahim alayhi salam is utilizing this divine names here. Make sense? There's a comment. Zara says, so what you are saying is believers shouldn't pay taxes. Well, okay. I didn't make such a comment. I don't want to get in trouble. Okay. So this was number one. Number two. This is the second example. أو كالذي مر على قرية وهي خاوية على عروشها. Or the second one, like the one, by the example of the one, is at a town, and the town was made upside down. Like fallen down upon its turrets means the town was upside down, as if a person is passing by the ruins of a city. Take it this way. Okay, a person is walking by. Now, Quran is giving me the example of a person who walks by the ruins of a town. قال أن يحيي هذه الله بعد موتها. And then he asks the question, who is going to resurrect this town and the people of the town, or anything about this town after their death? And even today, when you look at the videos coming from Gaza, you say, who is going to rebuild this city? Like it's so badly destroyed. This giving the example of such a person passing by the ruins of a city and saying that who is going to rebuild this city? فَأَمَاتَهُ اللَّهُ مِئَةَ عَامٍ ثُمَّ بَعَثَهُ. Then Allah gave him death or killed him actually. فَأَمَاتَهُ اللَّهُ مِئَةَ عَامٍ. Amata, like giving death, مِئَةَ عَامٍ, 100 years, ثُمَّ بَعَثَهُ, then resurrected him. قال كم لبثت. Asked him, how long have you like stayed? قال لبثت يوما أو بعض يوم. He said, I stayed like this for a day or part of a day. قال بل لبثت 100 عام. He said, no, actually you stayed for 100 years. فانظر إلى طعامك وشرابك لم يتسنه. Look at your food and look at your drink, which didn't go bad. وانظر إلى حمارك, and look at your donkey. وَلِنَجْعَلَكَ آيَةً لِلنَّاسِ. But look at, let me see. Look at your S. Okay. I mean, within parentheses, they say how its entire skeleton has rotted. Nothing is mentioned as such, but this is the way it's being interpreted by the translator here. And look at your donkey, it just says. And then, وَلِنَجْعَلَكَ آيَةً لِلنَّاسِ. We did all this so that we might make you an example for people, a sign for people. Okay? وَانْظُرْ إِلَى الْعِظَامِ كَيْفَ نُنْشِزُهَا ثُمَّ نَكْسُوهَا لَحْمًا. And see how we will put the bones together and will clothe them with flesh. فَلَمَّا تَبَيَّنَ لَهُ. And when this became clear to him, قَالَ أَعْلَمُ أَنَّ اللَّهَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ. He said, now I know that Allah has power over all things. Okay? The way, like, the translators give a footnote with this, and they say, oh, this is talking about such and such of a person who asked that question, and Allah gave him death and resurrected him 100 years later. And when he woke up, he found his food and drink to be not spoiled, but he saw the bones of his donkey there. And then right before his eyes, God put flesh over donkey's bones and demonstrated him resurrection, and then told him that like this, we will resurrect those people. This is how generally this is being translated. And it could have been such a case as a sign of miracle. But again, let's try to read it as it talks to me, because I haven't seen donkeys being resurrected before my eyes in a miraculous way. Okay? What does this verse tell you? Again, this is supposed to be an example of the first verse. What do you think? Allah is the protector of believers. This was the verse, and it takes believer from darkness into light. How is this an example? How is this example bringing you from darkness into light? How is this giving you assurance that God is the protector of believer? What do you think?
I feel it's just
Okay. Yes, but you haven't seen it though. Have you? Like it says, أو كالذي مر على قرية. And so it's just, or consider him by way of example. He's giving us an example, and I haven't seen the guy either. And this is an example given to me. I mean, if this have happened in front of my eyes, sure, I guess, yeah, definitely I would be believing in it, right? If you were given death for 100 years, and then you are given resurrection. And on top of that, you still find your food unspoiled, and you find your donkey, and how donkey is, bones are covered with flesh. Yeah, I will be convinced about this. But do you see such a thing? No? Have you seen anybody who is given 100 years death and then resurrected? No?
I think this fashion.
Fashion trends? Like
They
what?
like stay for 100 years. And then that's the only thing.
Okay. Ash? Which ash? Okay. So, just a small detail here. I don't know how necessary it is, but it was cute for me. The word فَأَمَاتَهُ اللَّهُ مِئَةَ عَامٍ ثُمَّ بَعَثَهُ. The term used for the year here is عام, not sana. Quran uses both sana and am to represent year. Sometimes uses sana, sometimes uses am. And interpreters make a distinction between the uses of the two words. They say when Quran uses sana, it means life that passes hard. like harsh years, like with droughts, with some harsh conditions. If it talks about am, these are the years that pass good. So, for example, when Quran talks about Nuh alayhi salam's life, says he was given 1,000 years. That's it. ألف سنة إلا 50 عاما. So in the same sentence, he says 1,000 sana except 50 am. This is how they say 950 years, like 1,000 minus 50. The way they interpret this is his life, if you would like to do it with numbers, 1,000 of it, only 50 out of 1,000 was a decent, happy life. 950 of it was tough life. Like that person's, 5% of his life was nice. 95% of his life was in hardship. Read it as such. Or this is how I read it. Like literally did he live 1,000 years? Take it as such if you like. Alternatively, you can also take it like 95% of that person's life was in hardship. 5 years of his life was in nice. So here he says you are given 100 years of life. Like it's good years, okay? I look at my life. If you ask me, Yusuf, how long have you lived today? Yesterday, I took a lift to home. I was just having a casual conversation with the driver. I said, do you have family and whatnot? He said, yeah, I have a son, 20 years, a daughter, 21. I was not expecting that. Like even if he were to say that I'm not married or anything, I would accept. But the guy was just appearing to be 40, 45 at most. He said, I have a kids, 20, 21. I said, wow, I didn't expect this. He said, well, and he said, do you have kids? I said, yeah, 2 years, 5 years. He said, oh, these are the best days. To me, he said, it feels like yesterday. It passes so quick, he said. He said, make good use of those days, he said, right? If you ask me, I say, yeah, like still I cannot believe that I am 40. Like as if my childhood was yesterday. We are being given this life, amen, like good years. You are being given good years. And actually every day you're changing this body, entire body. Do you feel like any of the particles in your body is the same particle from last year? Like you're not like a building. This Drexel building, this brick put in this building is the same brick that was put, let's say, 50 years ago. But in your body, there's no single brick which stays the same from last year. Your body got resurrected. Anything that entered this building of your body is taken away and something new is replaced by it. So in fact, your body is renewed 100 times already in good days. And when you look back, you say, how long have you stayed in this state? You feel like, oh, I mean, as if it's just one day or not even a day. Life has passed so quick. Actually, you can relate to that example. You have died so many times already. You have been resurrected so many times. Look at your food. It didn't get rotten. What does this mean? In your case, let's not take it as 100, but for 20 years, look, still you have food. The one who maintained you still keeps maintaining you. What is your worry about? What was the question about? Who's going to resurrect them, right? Like you have already been resurrected 20 times. Okay. 20 عاما. For 20 years, you have been resurrected. And look, still you have food here. The one who resurrected you keep providing your food as well. It's not that all food provided me. No, the food is standing right next to you. Whomever provided you with the food as well. And look at your donkey. Like things that you rely on is still with you. You felt like, oh, this is my protector, that's my protector. The one who resurrected you keeps maintaining them too. They did not maintain you, but the one who maintains you keeps maintaining them too. Because generally, where does the question come from? How is this city going to be rebuilt? How is this dead person is going to be rebuilt? Why do we have such questions? We have such questions because we feel like, is the doer able or capable? This is why you would have such a question, right? Like, for example, if you are, if I am Qadir's protector, and Qadir is planning to make a master's in business school, okay? Business school is not free. It's a lot of money, right? And let's assume I am Qadir's protector. What would Qadir say? I'm like, okay, Yusuf is a good guy, but does he have an extra 200K to give to me? Rightfully, he will ask that question, right? The same question we ask about the resurrection. Like, okay, I'm dying. Am I going to be resurrected? Like the one who kept maintaining me, is he going to maintain me further? This is where the question coming from. And the answer says, look, you have been maintained 100 times so far already. Like if I have already supported Qadir's undergraduate for, I don't know, 300K or something, or even his entire upbringing, $1 billion I invested on Qadir, and Qadir says, well, do you have an extra 200K? What would you say? Qadir, look, I have been supporting you for $1 billion so far. Are you seriously asking this 200K question? This is what the verse is highlighting. You have been given this life and you feel like you are ignorant. That's why it says, how long have you stayed? You say a day or less than a day. We forget that we have been maintained so far. The Creator is bringing to my attention, no, I have been supporting you for 100 years. I have been resurrecting you for the past 100 years already. Every day was a new creation. You were being given life. And now you're asking me, after 100 years, if I give you death, you say, are you going to wake me up again? What sort of a question is that? After this example, the person says, أعلم أن الله على كل شيء قدير. Now I know that Allah has power over all things based on past experience. So, Allahu waliyul ladhina amanu. Allah is the protector of the believer. Belief came from the evidence here. Belief didn't come from a story. Belief came from an evidence. And how did it take me from darkness into light? What was my darkness here? Okay, again, came in. So what was my darkness here? My darkness was what's going to happen after I die. Generally speaking, maybe we don't put as much thought into this matter. I mean, since we were brought up in an environment in which definitely there is paradise. So after we die, we go to paradise or hell. We never maybe questioned that matter. You can, though, hypothetically think about it. Just imagine for a second. You die and you do not exist anymore. How do you feel about this? You could have born into such a worldview. Like if your iman in afterlife is not rooted on such a conviction, just imagine you were born into an atheist family, let's say, and the family says, well, we die and we become dust. Would you be able to, how would you take that? This will help realizing what darkness means. Yeah. Right? Because it's even so ugly. Probably mentioned this, I remember mentioning it here. One of those random videos that YouTube suggested me was mentioning how horrible the capital punishment in Japan is. Like in the death row in Japan, apparently they don't tell the person when he's going to be executed. The guy knows that he's going to be executed, but they don't tell when. They just knock the door one day and say that, okay, today we are hanging you or killing you, whatever. And they find it very inhumane, saying that, well, if you're going to kill, at least tell the guy when they're going to die. Otherwise, every day the guy is dying. And for them, death is the end. So this anxiety is being put as an added torture on the person, right? Every person in this life is in a death row, because everybody in this room is going to die one day. Is there anyone who says no? You are all in a death row, right? Including Ibrahim, you will die one day. Well, you don't know which day, right? One day somebody will knock the door and say that, well, today is your... I mean, if death is the end, such a horrible existence, like every newborn baby is in a death row, if you think about it this way, life is so dark, so pointless. Actually, all the moments of smiling, as if somebody is mocking me, like giving me some candies as they are leading me to, what's it, the gallows to kill me. They say, oh, would you like candy? Just imagine somebody is about to shoot you in the head. Before shooting you in the head, says, oh, would you like some candy? What would you say? Take it away. Are you mocking me? You would say, right? This is how the life sounds like, though. In here, we are being provided with those nice fruits and beauty of life and whatnot. And then they say, well, by the way, yeah, we are going to kill you. We are going to annihilate you one day, right? So this is the darkness, and how Allah is the protector of the believer, and by Iman in such a creator, you get extracted from this darkness into light. And this is what the protection is. Yes.
I like how like the sign is being showed to someone who is a believer. So it's not like, it's not like some disbeliever is like, oh, like they say it's a God, how is he going to do it? No, it seems to me that this person like is genuinely like curious, and he's already saying, oh, like, how will Allah restore life? He's not, oh, how will it happen? I wonder if it will happen. I like that. But also like this is making me think of how like people are super into composting these days. It's like, oh, like, okay, it all started with carbon and, like all these nutrients, and then you like bury it or whatever, and then it, goes to that same state that it came from. And yeah, I mean, it's just, we like, I don't know, I can think of so many examples of how like we do see that. These days I'm really into like watching surgeries. So I watched like a video of like a heart bypass on a guy, which is like a really like major surgery. It takes hours. And this guy is just there, like he has no idea what's happening, and these doctors are like ripping apart his body, like doing like all these things that like seem like they're so traumatic, and he wakes up and it's like nothing happened, like where am I, how that was nothing, he feels nothing. So it's also making me think of that.
Yep. And I am being maintained as such. Every moment those, if you like, bricks from my cells are being taken away, being replaced with other bricks like carbon or whatever atoms. And I feel like, well, it just passed like a day or less than a day. And the one who maintains this says that, well, I have been resurrecting you for so long, and yet you still ask the question, how is he going to resurrect me? And let's talk about the third and last example. وَإِذْ قَالَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ رَبِّي أَرِينِي كَيْفَ تُحْيِي الْمَوْتَى. Now in this case, Ibrahim alayhi salam, who is the person who just defeated the king in the first example. Now he is asking the question, very interesting and very beautiful. Says, oh my Lord, show me how you give life to the dead. قَالَ أَفَلَمْ تُؤْمِنْ. Then the Creator says, don't you believe? Did you not believe? قال بلى. He said, no, I do. ولكن ليطمئن قلبي. So that my heart is going to be at ease. My heart is going to be satisfied. So I have Iman, but I need more security, more satisfaction. Sometimes this happens, right? When we talk about such matters, like my Muslim brother or sister would say that, well, yeah, I believe in afterlife anyways. Ibrahim alayhi salam is asking that question, man. Like he is the one who has been the forefather of the Tawheed that we are accepting, right? He asked that question. So I should be sometimes be more conscious when asking or pretending to be super pious. So a messenger ask such a question? ليطمئن قلبي. قال فخذ أربعة من الطير فصرهن إليك. So then the Creator says, the Creator does not say, how dare you ask such a question? Or the Creator does not say, Ibrahim, I mean, okay, you ask that question, but it's between you and me. Because others shouldn't see you asking such a question, otherwise they would think wrong about you. No, the Creator is even putting this in Quran, exemplifying Ibrahim alayhi salam to us, saying that asking such a question is good. And this is how I'm exemplifying it to you, even as how Allah is the protector of believers. This is being provided to me as a good example. And the Creator says, قال فخذ أربعة من الطير. So take 4 from among birds. فصرهن إليك. So make them familiarize with yourself, like train them. ثم اجعل على كل جبل منهن جزءا. And from them take juz, like pieces, and put them into mountains. Translators take it in 2 ways. One, since the verse is saying juz'an, they say, some of them, I didn't choose that translation, but there was such a translation as well. Within parentheses, they say, split the birds into pieces, like kill them, split them into pieces, and put them to the mountaintops. This is one way they take it, but I don't take this way. It could have been, but for a reason, I will say. And then invite them. They will come to you in haste. Like they will come to you by flying. This is how this one said, but they will come to you in haste. Birds will come back to you. وَعَلَمْ أَنَّ اللَّهَ عَزِيزٌ حَكِيمٌ. Then you'll know, or by that know, therefore know, that Allah is mighty and the wise. Okay? It could have been the way the interpreters did. Like it could have been that Ibrahim alayhi salam chopped them into pieces and whatnot. But the verse explicitly does not say chop them. It just says pieces of them. Another way, I mean, if it is taken as such, then it's a clear miracle. And he then observed how the Creator resurrects the dead, right? But it's not going to become an evidence that I can replicate. Like you cannot go and say, well, since the God said as such, I will go and chop off some birds, put them into mountains, and then I'll call back. Birds will not come to you, right? You cannot replicate this. How is this going to become a evidence for you? The second interpretation makes sense to me in the sense that it's not replicable. What is it? They say 4 birds is a group of birds, right? Like if I have a group of 4 people, a team, and then I say, put the juz, like the components of this team into 4 separate locations. What does this mean? Send Qadir to this building, Ibrahim to that building. What's your name, brother? I forgot. Karamuko to this other building, right? So splitting them into different parts, because 4 is the kul here, like the group, bigger. Juz is the pieces of that group, which are 4. Why does this make sense to me? Then what does the message of this verse? It is saying that, look, if you train just 4 birds and separate them, when you call them, do they come back to you? This is something you observe, right? Imam Nursi gives a different example in these lines. He says, consider there's a war. And the government says, all the males collect under this flag. And then they collect people to an army. People from all different cities come to, let's imagine they're coming to a large battleground. And the whole army is put together, right? And then in the break time, the army gets dispersed. And then the commander says, discharge until tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, they just blow a horn. What happens? All those 100,000 soldiers comes together. This is something that we can observe. What happened? With a command, all those things get together, right? What does this verse say? Look, Qadir, what are you worried about? when you get into grave, the pieces of your body is going to get dissolved. Your spirit is going to go somewhere, intellect is going to go somewhere, and you're worried about who's going to put them together. The question is, who did put them together in the first place? Which is a harder thing, right? Putting them together in the first place, he made it, and now we see Qadir. And now you say that after the discharge, with a single command, they will get together. Whomever put them together in the first place, under his command, is way capable putting them together for a second time. And you can experience this by yourself. Put 4 birds together, train them, disperse them. When you call, they come together with your command. The command of the one who put your body together is stronger. And within his command, you're going to be put together with whatever makes you as you. So this verse very beautifully freeing me from my worry about resurrection, saying that he already put you together. Do you really think that he cannot put you together a second time? So these are very beautiful Quranic methodology to teach us Allah is the protector of the believer. He teaches us actually how I can get protection from my Creator and how it's going to enlighten me from my worries. And then the example with the Taghut and the disbeliever was also given. Any question, any comments? Does this make sense about, like these are very simple examples proving resurrection. So in such plain language, so strong of a message is being conveyed by the Quran. This is eloquence. Yep.
So when that car breaks down and gets into an accident, like would we be surprised if that company could put the car back together?
Yeah, they already made it in the first place, right?
So, interesting example that just came to mind is like, when you buy an airplane from someone, like a country, like if Pakistan buys an aircraft from the US, we're not allowed to take it apart. Like if there's a malfunction, they'll send their own team and then they'll do it. So this like comes into mind is like they made it like, and you can remake it if you have all of those parts. Like remaking that thing is easy. Like making it from scratch, that is the hardest part.
Yeah. So this is what then I need to question. I worry, is he going to be able to make it again? And he says, look, he made it so many times. And apparently this is the harder one, making it in the first place. He made it in the first place. Then he remade it and remade it and remade it so many times. And now you say, well, can you make it once more? So the question about life after death should not really be a question if you look back and see what he has already done, what he has been doing for so long. These are very simple examples, but very beautiful examples to make us feel now secure in my Creator. With such a belief, then, if somebody puts the gun to your head, what would you say? Like, what is it that I am losing? I didn't own anything in the first place. I'm not going to lose anything, but I would like to enjoy life. And I say, well, the one who gave me life in the first place will give me resurrection. This is what, when I now look at Gaza with this lens, and when they ask to a believer in there, you see the tranquility in this person. Where is this tranquility coming from? This is now protection. The tranquility in this person, despite the horrible physical environment, the tranquility is this of this person is the protection, really. That person is not living in hell. This person is living in paradise of security. On the other hand, the disbeliever is living in the hell of insecurity. Yeah.
But would a believer, like, it's still okay to feel fear still, right?
I mean, fear is there. Fear is there. but then you question your feeling. Like all these feelings are coming, like you get hatred, you get love, you get worry. And then you ask the question, who is it that I'm worrying from? Who is it that I'm fearful of? Evaluating the feeling, then we'll erase that feeling. If it sticks with you, then there's a problem there. I'm afraid of the guy initially, and I kept being afraid of the guy, then there's something wrong in there. But initially you were afraid, and then you realize, well, this is not something to be afraid of. So this is how it's going to be erased. Okay. Let's conclude here. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم وآخر دعواهم أن الحمد لله رب العالمين. الفاتحة.